Hey guys, it's Mawad and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you're notified when my next video comes out. Alright, so on today's mukbang menu, I have ramen! Okay, I don't know why it took me this long to do a ramen video, but here it is. And this is one of my favorite instant ramens ever. It is the Shin Instant Ramen Noodle. So it's this one here. So I have 2 packs all in this pan here, and I also have some chicken dumplings slash gyoza. And the reason why they look like super burnt because I like my dumplings very crispy. And yeah, I love this ramen. I eat this at least once a week when I'm very lazy to cook. I also like to add, with my ramen, I don't like eating it plain. I also like to add like poached eggs and some mushrooms. If I have green onions, I'll add that as well. Or if I have like chicken or shrimp, I like adding that. So I do have some poached eggs, 3 poached eggs and some mushrooms that I will be adding to this ramen dish. Yeah, and this ramen is pretty spicy. To me, it's spicy. Probably to my boyfriend, it's not. And so I'm just gonna add my poached eggs in here. So I have 3. I love adding poached eggs to my instant ramen just because it gives like that creamy, yolky taste, which I really love. So just gonna add those in there. If you haven't tried poached eggs in your instant ramen, I suggest you get on that. Okay, we'll add some mushrooms on there. It's a lot of mushrooms. I love mushrooms, hence why I have so much. Okay, I want that all of it in. Alright, so let's dig in. Let's get dig in. This is like my favorite part where I break the yolk. Oh, look at that. That's like my favorite. Okay, no one make fun of my chopstick skills. I'm not the greatest, but I try. Look at that. What the heck? See, I suck at it. How do you guys eat your instant ramen? Or what's your favorite instant ramen brand? Spread all of that yolk onto your noodles. Oh, it's so good. Gyoza. And I just got these dumplings from like Costco, because you know Costco frozen section is the best, right? Yeah, I really like ramen, and I really wish that I was able to go to Japan and try like real ramen. Like I haven't been to Japan yet, so I'm so sad because I really do love ramen. Like as I said in my previous videos, I really love Japanese food, and like it's one of my top 3 favorite types of food. Now, and speaking of Asia, it's gonna be another It's gonna be another story time. I've been to Asia, but only to the Philippines, because I am Filipino, for those who don't know. I remember when I was in Mexico, they kept thinking I was Spanish, because like my last name is very Spanish, but no, I'm 100% Filipino. And yes, I've been back home to the motherland of Philippines. Okay, well, it's not my motherland, it's my mom's, because I was born in Canada, but yeah, I went back to the Philippines twice in my life. So the first time that I went was when I was 14. Well, I've been maybe 3 times when I was like when I was a really small baby, but like, I don't remember that. I went once when I was 14, and I remember I didn't even want to go because I was like, oh, Philippines. Like, I just hear that it's like, you know, a third world country. I do have a lot of family there. Like, basically half my mom's side is in the Philippines, and they might be watching this right now, so hi guys. Yeah, so half of my family's from the Philippines, and they're still there at the moment. And I remember when I was 14, my other cousins that were here, they've been already, and they're like trying to scare me, and they're like, oh, you're not gonna like it, you're like gonna hate the Philippines, it's so blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to go anymore. They're like trying to scare me, but I had no choice but to go because my grandma paid for my plane ticket. Ooh, a little spicy. Yeah, so she paid for my ticket, so we went, and I remember I had like no idea what to expect. I was gonna meet my cousins who are, I have a lot of cousins there who are like my age, so, and I've never met them before really, so I was really nervous, and I was like, oh my god, I was there for like a month and a half. Like, that's pretty long. So, and I went around like January or February, so that's when it's like, well, I guess it's not considered summer, but it was pretty hot to me. I remember as soon as I got off the plane, it was so humid. It was so humid, there was so much people at the airport. In general, like, it wasn't a bad trip. Like, I got along with like my cousins, I got to go out, but unfortunately I didn't really get to go island hopping. I just stayed like in the province, which was a little boring, but like, you know, it was just like the main purpose of the trip was just to like meet my like family and like spend time with them basically. I got to try like street food, which was so good. One of my favorite street foods there was banana Q, which was like some sort of Asian banana with like brown sugar deep fried on a stick. So that was really good. And I remember I got that often. And I also do like, I did like the ube ice cream from the Philippines. That was really good. And for those who don't know what ube is, like look it up. It's so good. It's one of my favorite flavors in the entire world. Anyways. My dog is staring at me. Staring me down with all his food. Ooh. Spread all that yolk onto your noodles. Oh, fuck. You know, had a good time. What else? I got to go to a carnival. I got to, what else did I do? I don't know, just did some shopping, like going to the market and like meeting a lot of extended family. And then I remember on the way home, my mom and my sister, because I went with my mom and my sister and my grandma and my other aunt. My sister and my mom left first, I think. Or, yeah, I think they left first. So I was leaving like maybe a day or two after them. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be stuck here. So, you know, go to the airport. We get to Vancouver because that's pretty much like the hub in Canada to get to the Philippines. So we arrive in Vancouver. Everything's going well, and then me and my grandma and my aunt get pulled to the side for questioning. And mind you, I'm 14 years old and like I've never traveled like alone like that before, because I say alone because my grandma and my aunt, they don't speak English at all. So it was kind of like up to me, you know, to fill the papers when my mom didn't even tell me how to do it. So it was up to me to do all the papers, fill it out, and claim things. Oh. So they pulled us to the side, and then they were like scanning our boxes, and it was just like us. And I remember I was like freaking out because I'm like, I don't know what's in my grandma and aunt's boxes. Like no one even told me. It was just basically like, obviously nothing bad, but you know, there's just like alcohol, smokes. What else was there? There was fruits, exotic fruits, obviously. And I had no idea like what the rules were. I was like 14, like I had no idea. And then they started kind of like getting mad at us. And I remember I started crying and panicking because I'm like, I don't know the answers to anything. And I was literally like, literally in tears. So good with the yolk. I guess I just kept crying, and then they're like, okay, we'll let you go. And I'm just like, oh my god. So, you know, if I wasn't over dramatic like that, we probably would have been like questioned even more. And I remember I was like, oh my god, never again. I remember thinking to myself, okay, I'm never gonna be put in this situation again. Please don't put me in this situation again. And then years later, unfortunately my grandma had passed, so I had to go back to the Philippines. Long story short, I was only there for a week, like the shortest trip of my life. And then going back, and I'm like thinking, okay, I've because I traveled to the Philippines like on my own, and I was like, I think I was like 18 at the time. So I was like, okay, you know, I got this. I traveled there on my own. I got there by myself. So I was like, okay, going back should be easy, right? Like, wrong. So freaking wrong. And so I remember I even made sure that I had like some Canadian cash when I was going back. But then I remember my mom asked me for like money, so I was like, okay. And I obviously had debit. I had money in my debit, but I just didn't have any cash. So my mom dropped me off to the airport because I was traveling back on my own as well. And in the Philippines, when you drop people off, you can't really like stay. It's basically just passengers departing. And then, so my mom left, went all the way back to where she's from, which is like an hour away. And then, so I check in and everything like that. Oh, I'm still so mad about this. I went to check in or whatever, and then I remember there was like a sign saying like, oh, it costs like $17 Canadian to get through like check-in or something like that. And I was like, say what? I had like some coins on me, you know, tried to call my mom. But in the Philippines, they have like pay as you go. So I'm like, okay, this is so useless. I kept calling her, and I remember I was just starting to freak out. I tried to go into any ATM machine there, tried getting money out of my debit. And I remember I was just starting to freak out because I was about to board within half an hour. I haven't been checked in. I haven't gone through the security. I need to go all the way to the other side of the airport to catch my flight. Oops. Oh, I'm basically done here. Oops. Yeah, so I keep trying to call my mom, and it kept going like, not in service, blah, blah, blah. And I was getting so frustrated at this point. At this point, I'm like freaking out, walking around the airport, trying to call, and I was crying on the phone. And I remember I just kept crying, and I was crying until a security guard came up to me, and I remember I was just crying, and I was trying to explain to them. And I'm so glad that they were able to understand what I was saying, because I was speaking English. Because like I understand like the Filipino language, but I'm not really great at speaking it. I can only speak like simple sentences, but I understand it fully 100%. So yeah. And then the guy saw me like crying, and then so they went up to me, and I just explained my situation, saying like, I can't get through, I need Canadian money to get through. So they saw me crying hysterically because I'm like, I need to go home. And I remember I skipped a whole week of university. And I remember I was like, I can't miss this flight because I have like a statistics test like when I come back. God, they were so nice. Like the security guards, or I had an uncle that was gonna come back to Canada like 6 hours later after me. So I gave them his phone number, and the guy was like, here, I'll give you money to go through. I'll contact your mom and your family, and then they can like owe me back. And I was just so thankful, and I'm like, thank you. I was crying. I kept crying and crying. And I was just like, I was so thankful that these guys were nice enough to like lend me money and let me go through. Because they easily could have said no, left me there, or whatever. But they were really nice. I remember I got through. I got through security. Oh my god, I can't get this thing. Ugh. I got through security. I booked it all the way to my flight. And I remember going onto the flight and I was literally the last one on board. Like they were calling my name already on the intercom and I was just like booking it. I wish that I could have personally thanked those security guards who were so nice to me. I had my cell phone, but obviously you don't have like service there. And I remember I was freaking out trying to text my boyfriend. Every time I go to the Philippines, something goes wrong when I come back home. So I'm like, hopefully the third time that I do come back there, that won't happen again because, oh my god, that was a nightmare. I just remember I tried calling everyone that I knew. No answer. I'll just never forget that moment. So I remember when I got back to Canada, I got back home and because my mom stayed like an extra month there because I was only there for a week and because I had to go back to school. And then I remember when she called home from the Philippines, I like picked up the phone and I was so mad at her. I was screaming at her. The thing is, I was like so mad at my mom because I'm like, you've been here so many times. Why didn't you tell me that this happens? Like, I had no idea. And like, oh, I was so mad at her. And like, I was mad at her for a while. Like, how could you send me off like that, you know? But I'm here, I'm alive. I definitely know how to travel on my own now. So, yeah. I'm not gonna like finish all of this, but pretty much finished all of it. Ooh. But yeah, so that concludes my Philippines travel horror story. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at @mountainm because I do post a lot of food pictures on there frequently. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Peace.